and your baby son doesn't survive.
Probably the worst moment that I passed through my life.
From the goodbyes of the greatest football legends to tragic fates, life-saving rescues, and even a player who died in a plane crash, these moments will leave you speechless. After 7 successful and incredibly beautiful years filled with emotions, passion, and his heart belonging to BVB, it was time for Klopp to say goodbye to Dortmund.
Da war es mir wichtig, dass ich die Gelegenheit bekomme, nochmal mit euch und zu euch zu sprechen.
The club and the fans owed him a lot. He had brought them back to success and celebrated with them. Now it was time to say farewell. This choreography is just breathtaking. No need to hold back the tears as a Dortmunder. After the last match against Werder Bremen, Kloppo took one final lap of honour at Signal Iduna Park.
Now, Jurgen Klopp does take his final bow at the Signal Iduna Park.
We will come back to him later in the video. Totti dedicated his entire career to AS Roma, so it was an emotional farewell when he announced his retirement. Roma fans must have felt both sad and happy at the same time. After all, they had a true legend in their team, something you don't see much anymore.
Here he is, the King of Rome. He'll always be the King of Rome.
Speaking of legends, Ronaldo broke down in tears during a live broadcast when he saw an interview with his late father for the first time.
I never saw the video.
When Panama's national anthem played at a World Cup for the first time, many tears were shed, both in the stadium and in front of the TV. They were so happy and proud to see their players on the pitch, and when they scored their first ever World Cup goal from a free kick, the joy was even greater. The 1-7 score didn't matter to them at all. Now that's what I call passion and emotions at the highest level. Barella was a bit frustrated and wanted to kick the ball against the boards, but instead he hit a ball boy in the face from close range. Ouch! He immediately regretted it, jumped over the boards, hugged the boy and apologised. Barella wanted to make sure he was okay before returning to the field. Germany, World Cup 2014.
Schürrle. Der kommt an! Mach ihn! Mach ihn! Er macht ihn! Mario Götze! Das ist doch Wahnsinn! Und da ist gekommen dieser eine.
Those were the days. The world seemed peaceful and the whole world just watched football. But it will get a lot crazier, just believe me. It's been almost 10 years since Germany won the World Cup. I hope England wins it soon. Christian Eriksen collapsed in the middle of a game during Euro 2020. Everyone was worried and asked themselves what would happen to him. Eriksen suffered a cardiac arrest. His teammates and fans all over the world were in shock and tears, deeply concerned about his condition.
His way in for Finland. Does look serious.
Well, players knew straight away that was a heavy fall.
Well, you can tell immediately, can't you, from players' body language.
Captain Kerr reacted quickly and tried to comfort Eriksen's partner, Sabrina Jensen. The medical team rushed in, treated him and took him to a nearby hospital. Thanks to CPR and a defibrillator, he was successfully revived. On his comeback for the national team on March 26, 2022 against the Netherlands, Eriksen scored right after coming on. The joy was huge.
Olsen, det rigtig godt dansspil her. Christian Eriksen! Christian Eriksen! Scorer simpelthen her!
Luckily, my joy is huge as well. Thank you for your massive support over the last weeks. We start to become a real community. If you haven't already subscribed, like and subscribe. Okay, enough begging, let's continue. When a Ronaldinho lookalike walked up to Messi to shake his hand, the superstar took the time for him. But it wasn't just the fan who was happy. Messi seemed to enjoy it too. The following scene is just crazy. Rafinha had an emotional farewell with the fans and his teammates. Remembering all the goals and titles he celebrated with them brought a few tears to his eyes. But Bayern had to say even harder goodbyes, like the one to Franck Ribéry. He was known as the team's mood maker and always spread good vibes. Toothpaste on door handles, knotted shoelaces, or special shower pranks, Ribéry had an endless list of small but funny tricks. Even on the pitch, he kept the mood high, like during training in Camp Trentino. How could you not like him? After 12 long and wonderful years, he moved to AC Florence. Yes, everything comes to an end someday. During his farewell speech, the winger was so emotional that he could barely say a word. But our last scenes will get even better. And since we're talking about emotional farewells, here's the next one. Luis Suarez said adios to Atletico Madrid after 2 years. With 21 goals in the previous season, he played a key role in winning their first league title in 7 years. The club and the fans will surely never forget him. The Uruguayan couldn't hold back his tears after being substituted. In true Luis Suarez style, he thanked the fans and staff on social media for an unforgettable 2 years in the Spanish capital.
Lively, actually, Sancho. I have to be a bit careful with him. Ball comes in, and Manchester United have scored. Cristiano Ronaldo has put it in. Arsenal switched off, and Ronaldo has.
Football is all about special stories, and here's another even crazier one. When Jurgen Klopp got a call from his agent while on vacation, he didn't need much time to think. Without even discussing the financial details, he said yes.
Very good morning to you. It's the first day of the Jurgen Klopp era at Anfield.
That's how a great football story began in Liverpool. In June 2020, the moment finally arrived. After 30 years of waiting, the Reds won their first Premier League title under Klopp. Not even COVID could stop the fans from celebrating. Despite the restrictions, the city celebrated in full force. Understandable. Still not emotional enough? How about this? In a tackle with Payet, Cristiano Ronaldo got injured during the Euro 2016 final. His son looked worried and desperate in the stands, and for good reason. The Portuguese captain couldn't continue and had to be subbed off. But no one knew at that moment that Ronaldo would become a great assistant coach. Alongside head coach Fernando Santos, he passionately guided his team for the rest of the match. After Eder scored to make it 1-0, only a few minutes remained, and they actually won. The first and only title Ronaldo ever won as a player-coach. He shed many tears during that game, but in the end, it was all worth it. The goal didn't just bring tears to the French fans, but also to Ronaldo and his teammates. A true goosebump moment. But the following scene is nothing but sad. Fiorentina fans mourned deeply when Davide Astori suddenly passed away in 2018. The entire football world was in shock. Besides his family, the club, players and fans were devastated by the tragic loss of their captain. In their first game after his passing, a 1-0 win against Benevento, the fans put on an incredible tribute with banners and messages honouring him. A great player, and above all, a great person was gone. Rest in peace. One of football's most unique personalities said goodbye to the sport last year. Zlatan Ibrahimovic retired after struggling with injuries. His farewell at AC Milan was incredibly emotional. Yes, even tough guys cry. There were tears both in the stands and from Zlatan himself.
Forza Milan e arrivederci.
Jimenez couldn't hold back his tears after a foul on Pogba. Getting knocked out of the tournament hit him hard emotionally. But the next one is much, much worse. Emiliano Sala was set to transfer from Nantes to Cardiff, but he never made it. His plane crashed on the way to Cardiff, and for days search teams looked for any sign of it. Eventually the wreckage was found. There were no survivors. Nantes fans gave him a touching farewell. His coach and the fans couldn't hold back their tears. Absolutely understandable. But before coming to the next video, something a bit happier. In Brazil, a dog thought the match was too intense and decided to bring some peace and love onto the field. And it worked instantly. Everyone smiled and petted him. In the end, he was carried off like royalty. Here you'll find something not as emotional but just as thrilling. Fans who took it too far, from pitch invaders to murderers. Click on it.